Welcome back. How we doing? If you've just joined, welcome to the second stream today. If you was in the first bit, welcome back. Hope you had a good break. We will continue with our Juna mission as the sun rises over Kerbin. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? I remember when Kerbal's space program didn't have any clouds or anything. It used to be really bland. Like this was just green, not even textured. And now it's almost like P3D. Look at it. Andy G, 58 months. Thank you, Andy. Just trying to think what we need to do. We need to design a... We need to... Actually, what the first thing we'll do is we'll make some tweaks to our current rocket setup. We've already been to Juna Horochi. We're going to go back. Put a probe around it, hopefully. So whether we want to come back in any fashion or not, that's the question. Do we like go there, deploy something and come back? Or do we just one-way it? Not sure. We'll see how the wind takes us. Oh, Ty. Okay, so... Thank you for 94 months. You should have been here earlier when we first... It's been a lot of shenanigans today. Trying to get those Kerbals back from Juna has been very interesting. We quite literally had to get an engineer and strip the ship of parts to shed weight. That's the first thing we did. And then when we finally got out of Juna, having collected a whole load of science, like a gold mine of science, well over 2,000 science points, we then approached Kerbin in a far too direct fashion, shall we say, which resulted in a giant fireball that 3 Kerbals died in. Didn't go to plan. So after some adjustments, shall we say, we managed to get ourselves back on a better approach into Kerbin and kind of aero braked ourselves back in and, yeah, got back safely. So there's been a lot of shenanigans today, for sure. But now, having come back with 2,000 science points and spent them on other random parts, we need to go back there and set up a probe. Oh, we got the science. We got all the science back. 2,016 points we got back. And we spent most of them. Fly Guy, thank you for 2 years. Happy anniversary. You should have a new sub badge, sir. Yeah, there are definitely clips. Let's see, the York 1. Let's make a York 2 with some minor adjustments, shall we? So we'll go with a York 2. We'll save that. And we'll see what improvements we can make to this. Let's remove the fairing for now. Okay. So... The actual launch is quite good. But that's with an adjusted amount of... Wait, solid fuel's on 100%. Oh no, there it is. Solid fuel is here. We took some fuel out. That worked quite well. We also emptied that fuel tank. Because we didn't need that extra fuel there. Then we have this bit here. That worked okay. Although, yeah, we have a control module on this and this, but not on this part of it. Yeah, so we've got to remove... We don't need a giant RCS tank, we know that much. So I think what we'll do... Also, this whole ladder thing just annoys me as well. I don't know how we make it so that we can transition from one to another. Maybe we should do it like that. Maybe that would allow us to walk. I don't know. I think the problem is that maybe we can move that. Don't know. They never seem to. It'd be nice to be able to walk up there and faff around trying to jump back in. It was the lower transition that was the problem. The lower transition. What do you mean? The second stage control was useless. You didn't have enough fuel to deorbit. Yeah, we need to put more fuel up above for sure. We need to get more fuel here. The way we're going to do it is we're going to have a fuel tank approximately this size instead of that. That's what we're going to have. So let's see. That's too small. That's the I think that's the RCS tank there, isn't it? The R750 is that one. So we want something like that. So we will get rid of the RCS and put that there. And instead we'll have some RCS pods around. Just to give us some RCS capability. But we didn't need a lot of it. No folding ladders unlocked. We do, but they are huge. However, yeah, the problem is you can't get past, like, once the landing leg's down because of where this is, like, is it possible to just rotate this? Can we take that and just rotate it a little bit? For some reason you can't. Maybe it's because of. No, it's not that. We can only rotate 90 degrees. Why can't we rotate 45? Why do some British people pronounce D's like J's? Like Juma instead of Duma? I don't know. I don't think they say it as a J. It's more of a Duma. It's not the same as Juma. Duma is what you should be saying. But then they say Dubai. They don't say Dubai. I don't know. English is hard, obviously. Right, RCS monopropellant. We also need a heat shield. Good call. We do. Yeah, that was to go after the decoupler, isn't it? Yeah. That needs to go here. PS4 Gamer, thank you for the bits. I've got a cup of tea, I just had one. Magic has been inconsistent. It really isn't consistent at all. 2.5 meters, no, that's too small. 3.75, that looks lovely, thank you very much. Very nice, I like. Although it does clip the engines. That's somewhat annoying. I mean, I imagine they'll still work, but just move them up a touch, maybe. Look, it's the second closer node. What do you mean, this one? What do you mean? What second closer node? What do you mean? Anthony, how you doing? Well, let's go. Thanks for 63 months. You spent too much money in the Fanatec F1 setup. Each user usually have 2 nodes to attach stuff. Oh, do they? Oh, I see. Good spot, dude. I didn't see that. Oh, that fixes it. Nice. Yeah, okay, so that's got a heat shield on it now, so at least we've got a good chance of not dying on the way back. Also, we need to put some... Oh, just go back. Ladders here. That's what I was going to look at. I was going to look for a ladder, see if we can get a retractable ladder to work, but I don't think we can because of where it comes in. You probably have to move these engines to here, put those pods there maybe, and then put a ladder over the top. So if you had something maybe like that, I don't know. You could do it that way. It would go past the pod. So you'd have to get those pods here and put those engines there, I think. Should be able to rotate by as little as 5 degrees. How? Won't let me do it. If I pick this up and I press Q and E, it literally rotates by 90 degrees. Oh, if I do shift, there we go. Okay. I mean, that's fine for the RCS thruster line, but I'm guessing the RCS thrusters that I put here then don't align with that, which could be a problem. Because this line here, that could be awkward. That could be very awkward. We can't put it on the hatch. Well, that's a limitation. I'm hoping they'll be able to get over that ridge, but I don't know. Do you even need ladders when they just use jetpacks? Well, I mean, that is definitely a debate. It would be a lot easier if we can just press space and walk all the way up. That's for sure. It's not necessary. Nandes, thank you for 4 years. Happy anniversary, Nandes. It doesn't weigh very much. Kind of worth having, isn't it? Right, where do we put RCS little tanks? We can't put them on this side of this. Or indeed on the storage bay. We could have some there, possibly. 50 monopropellant, 7.5, 20. Man, they're huge! Put them down there like that, and then we can put something something like that. That's 40 RCS. It's not a lot, but it's some. You can have RCS tanks on the new fuel tank. But here, it'd look ugly. We could, but I don't think it'd look nice. I don't really think we need much RCS, if at all. Well, we could bring the ladder out a little bit. The only problem is, if you do bring it out, it probably won't line up with that ladder. They'll probably stop here and won't move on, which is a real issue. I don't even think they'll do it though, if I'm honest. I think they'll just get to there and stop. Maybe what we should do is rake it a little bit. Like that. Because A, it looks cool, and B, they probably would walk up that. All the way. And it kind of follows the line of the ship. So we'll try that. Right, we'll save that there. Also, the staging was definitely wrong at one point. I remember that. Guessing that's wrong again. It always is. Not that it matters. It doesn't seem to save the Kerbals when you save a design. Right, what else was wrong with this? We talked about possibly, maybe, having some extra fuel up here that we could jettison later. I don't know if you want to do that. We could possibly attach some fuel pods on a separator. We'll chuck them out later. You're skeptical of the shark kink in the ladder. This, yeah, I don't think it'll take that. SRB boosters exploding and stage doesn't have fuels to deorbit. Well, the SRB exploding, I think we can do something with here. If we reduce the force percentage to nothing. Has it done that one? Yeah. I think we don't need this to happen. Because the thrusters will do it. So I don't think we need them to detonate. I think we just let them do their thing. Use more retractable ladders. What, you mean up the side of this? Well, how much does that weigh? That weighs 0.005 tons, and that weighs 0.005 tons. So one of them is equivalent to one of them, and yet that goes much further. Switch out for the Mark 1-3 pod and consolidate the width of the ship. What, you mean change that and mess about with all this? Could do, I reckon, is we get rid of some of them. Because these are pretty long. Really, game? Why can't I control that a little bit more finely? That would be really nice. Do you reckon they'll walk up that? Oh, was it doing a snap rotation thing, was it? That's annoying. Yeah, I think what we do is we start... If you start with the ladders up here, I just don't think you're going to get from here to there. Because your ladder's going to have to go straight down. It's got to angle at some point. Cheesy Man, thank you for 3 months. Trying to do this is just horrendous. I will put it on the pad when we finish messing about with it. We can check that bit. So the line of that would go probably to here, but then you'd have nothing unless you stuck this one out a bit. It would still only get you to there. So a ladder upside down might be able to bridge this slender bit. What, you mean this bit up the top? This vehicle is too high. Maybe like that, I don't know. The problem is you've then got the angle coming in and then you have to somehow get an angle going back out again. I suppose you could try and send one up to there. I think they'll bridge that. Definitely bypass the 45-degree taper. Well, we are doing. It's whether they'll transition from there to there, I don't know. And if we can get that to work, the only thing I have to do now is get them down to the next stage. if this works. See, the only problem with this, the only problem with all of this is that if you make a change to the rocket, like if you add some section in and take something out, it knocks all the ladder alignment out and you've got to then do it all again. But it is less weight. Not sure how we're going to test this though. Because I kind of need to test that bit on its own. Good argument for doing the ladders last. Oh yeah. Tell you what, we'll call this one York 2A. Or 2Z because I'm not going to keep it. And then we'll just quickly get rid of that lot. Extend the legs. And launch and see what it looks like. Aqua Vitale, thank you for 20 months. At last Twitch, let me resubscribe. Welcome back. There's no limit to how creative you can be in this game. There really isn't. You do all kinds of crazy things. Right, you, EVA. So the first thing is... Oh my god. What is going on? Because the ladder's upside down. Actually start out by going that way. No way, as if that actually worked. As if that actually worked. Grab. Let's see if we go all the way up. I mean, okay, quite an unorthodox way of coming out of the ship, but hey, there's no up in space anyway. It's like scaffolding, is it? Just a series of very carefully placed ladders. I don't know if they're going to go on board from here, though. You can do it as if that works. That's amazing. That actually works. Well, there you go. So we have a better ladder solution. Let's open the York 2. And just delete that one. Okay, so that's ladder solved. So we could put extra fuel up here that's detachable. So that would give us more fuel range without compromising on the height of it, like creating it any taller than it needs to be. To do that, we could look at use this area here. But we kind of want to put it on some kind of a separator so we can detach it. Oh yeah, drain holes, that's a good call. That's one thing we didn't have. Was a drain hole. Drain valve. I take it that will work. Put it here. There you go. So yeah, it's definitely got a connection to here. Yeah, we could do that. The problem with action groups, though, is you create them for a ship and then you forget you've got them. And you can't remember what hotkey does what. It's really annoying. I think that's connected. It's got a grey line, which I'm not really sure why it has a grey line rather than a green one. You're right, hotkeys in the description box helps a bit. So, if you put it on the gear, extend. Oh god, what have I just done? I literally clicked on it and it removed something. Yay! Does that just delete stuff? I literally clicked on it to see what it did and it's gone. I was going to try and put the ladders in with the gear somehow, but I don't know if that's possible. Extend, retract, there we go. Then toggle ladder. Enable same vessel interaction. What does that mean? Toggle same vessel interactions. Not exactly sure what that means, but it sounds like what I want. I specifically want to click on this ladder here, but I can't click it. It seems to be blended in with that one. There you go. Toggle ladder. It's been a real pain, this. Toggle ladder. Right, I don't know if that's going to work or not, but what we'll do is we'll try retracting. Oh my god, game, seriously. We put that on the launch pad. Blimey, that took a while. Press the G key. No way. Look at that. The legs came out and all the ladders lit up and deployed, which is another advantage those ladders have, is they have lights on them. That's actually pretty sweet, and I don't have to remember the action group anymore either. I like that. We do need to test this bit here, which I've just tweaked. See if that'll work. Right, so what have we got? We've got rockets, all the rockets firing, separators. They all go. After that, you're into transfer rocket, then you're into the fairing. And after that, wait, what? You should be down here. Then you've got that, and then possibly. It depends, really. It depends if you're landing on a planet with an atmosphere or not. Because if you can deploy the parachutes before you go for final separation later, then you know what I mean. Ghost Dragon, thank you for gifting 2 subs. Coop and LTC Biz Mode, welcome back, guys. Thank you, Ghost Dragon. Okay. So that's a science vessel. It now has more fuel on it. If we go for Juno will be stage 2, I think. So on Juno it will have 3,700 delta V, if I've understood that correctly. So yeah, I think we need more fuel on it up here. Juno has some atmosphere, yeah. Is he going to carry RA-100? So what I'm going to do, what I'm trying to do, Cinema, is fix this rocket so that York 2 has the problems that we found when it went to Juno and back. I want those resolved, and then what I'll do is I'll separate this rocket here. This is like a launch stage, and then we'll decide what we're going to put up here. So this is the launcher. We can use that on other things. And then if we're only going to have something that goes there and puts a probe out, or maybe goes there and deploys a probe and comes back, if that was the case, we would get rid of everything above here and change that bit to some kind of probe deployment, and then this thing would fly back. But then it would be unmanned, so we'd need to put a control on this. Did we want to tweak parachute deployment heights? Well, we did for Juno. No, I hate it when that happens. We did for Juno, but not for anything else. Great. What the heck has that just done? Seriously, what has that just done? Undo. Undo. Thank you. Accept. You little scumbag game, I saw what you did. Yeah, I mean, the altitude to deploy at, if you're going into Duma, it's a different story, isn't it? Like, what height do you want them to come in at? That's like 6,000 feet. Looks like it applies to all of them. So, I think we get some fuel on this up a bit, which is what we're going to do next. Fuel tank size. Baguettes. They're not a bad size. And everybody likes baguettes. Baguettes or donuts? You know, tough choice. But you need some kind of separator to mount them on. Radial decoupler. You could mount something like that. Potentially. And then stick a tank on it. And that would, when you detonate that, it should shoot the tank away, shouldn't it? So you could just surround it with those. Need a huge amount of detonation. Baguette tank on the radial decoupler works well. That's what I'm thinking. One of these baguette tanks on there. Mount that onto those things. Taking some silver bags into space, don't worry about it. No, we've got the ladders. All the ladders are sorted. Where's the, I remember you can control the order of fuel being depleted, because you want these to go before that. What you used to do was drain these into that with a pipe, but I'm sure you can set the order that it drains the fuel, but I can't remember how you do it. Yeah, but where's the flow priority? P20. Game, please don't do that. P0. Wait, so these are not attached, are they? These are separated from that, I think. Don't we also need to, like, do this? There we go. How does the priority system work? Is P0 like the last one? And P20 drains before P0? Is that how it works for its priority? The higher number will drain first. Okay. So I think that's what we want, isn't it? Like, so these tanks drain away. And then effectively we want to have some point where you let them go. You can have negative numbers. Do you need to enable crossfeed on the decouplers? Oh, will that do it instead? Oh, maybe that. 1 second. Enable crossfeed. Maybe that's all we need. Oh yeah, we don't need the fuel pipe. Good call, dude. Yeah, you just enable crossfeed on the decoupler and then it allows fuel to go in. What I don't quite understand is why is fuel flowing towards this one? With every other one, the fuel is flowing into the center, but with this particular baguette, fuel is flowing into it. And I don't understand why. That's a bit wrong, surely. It's definitely faulty. But I don't know what... Have I done something to do that? Because I just put one down. All of them are working fine, but this one... Here... The fuel is going the wrong way. Disable... Re-enable. Well, the flow priority is exactly the same, isn't it? The flow priority is P20, the same as all the others. That's so weird. It's literally always that one. What the heck? I don't understand that at all. That's completely wrong, and I don't know how to fix it. But I don't know why it would be the like literally the decoupler. You put one decoupler down, yeah? You've got one decoupler and you put it down and say I want 8 of those. So they're all the same. Everyone's the same. Enable crossfeed, you put this down. They're all the same. You show fuel, and this one randomly gets fuel. It's odd. Right, what are these decouplers? Here. Okay, we don't want that. So these decouplers need to go on their own staging. Right, so stage 2, we'll just throw away those. Stage... How do you make this smaller? How do you make this collapse again? Parachute's optional, and that. Okay, I think that maybe fixes everything. So let's try building the fairing again. Right, that's the York 2. We learned a lot from York 1. The only thing I didn't do was put any kind of remote control on that. How heavy are they? Better way, actually. Stage 4 to 6 is messed up. Oh, I fixed all that. So that's decouple, transfer rocket, throw away the fairing, activate the engine. I've definitely fixed that once. That decouple needs to go with those engines, doesn't it? Whenever that happens, that happens. Whenever that happens, that happens. Well, the Kerbals are always messed up. Like, literally the Kerbals. You have to remember to put the Kerbals in before you launch. Because if you ever load it back in, it redoes the Kerbals and it just randomly chooses, I think. So I think that is it for that. Let's give it a quick test launch. Check we haven't broken something. Yeah, I hope so, Nerdthagoras, I should say. Right, let's do an ascent plan. 200k. I think that's what we went for last time. Limit queue, auto stage. Cool. Well, that is interesting. Auto stage is on. I shouldn't need to press space. Space just does staging. It should automatically do that. What do you mean it scared you? You can't play Kerbal Space and not expect explosions. That's literally the whole point of the game. Something's not quite right. Why would it... The bottom stage is release, fire the main rockets, fire the SRBs. Like, that's stage 1 right there. And since it's on auto stage... it should just work. But when you hit enable, nothing happens. If I press space... I've got the wobbly rocket thing going on. We had this before. Why is it not automatically activating? Launch countdown was set to 11 seconds. Well, that would explain it. This should be auto-strutted. Auto-strut to heaviest part. Auto-strut to heaviest part. Is that clipped in the ground? Is that what the problem is? The real Ben White, thank you for 41 months. Oh, Wyland. Yeah, last time I just hit go and it just does it. But if somehow we've got 11 seconds in the timer, that would explain it. We've got 160 kilos of monopropellant. What was the delay? Launch countdown. How did that... I must have pressed 1 accidentally. Awaiting liftoff. I must have ticked something. I must have ticked some option that's stopping it from initiating the first stage. Auto stage delay, half, post 1 second. Stop at stage 0. I don't understand. I'll just manually press space. Last time I think it got to about 23k before it separated. We're looking for a cleaner separation as well, no like massive explosions. Because we did change the whole separation thing. That was 10k, and that was a cleaner separation. Because we're just doing an ascension, Bowen. I didn't select a target. This is literally a test launch. Like 21k. So far, so good. We want this to run out of fuel before it fully circularizes. That's the main thing. Periapsis is coming up quick. Minus 400. Because, Adam, when this is the launch stage here, and what we want to do is separate this away, and we want it to fall back down to Earth. If we circularize and then separate, it'll just keep going round. Not really biomet. Okay, so it's not staging properly. It's got 11 delta V left. Interesting. So it hit 200k APO, but it still has 11 delta V left, which is like, it would have been nice if it just run out of fuel. Just. If we selected a higher APO, like 220, 230, it would have separated. So... the other thing is it's not actually let go of the fairing yet, because really it should have already gone onto the transfer stage by now. I mean, there's different ways of solving that problem. Kind of want the fairing gun. We can either drain some fuel, which I don't really like doing. A tiniest bit of fuel. Or you can just manually separate, and then it'll do the fairing for you. Yeah, you kind of want... How can we do this easily? Since yesterday you've been having the taste for steak and lobster. Nothing to do with me. I know it will fall, but I kind of want it to separate before, because it won't let the fairing go until we're on the transfer stage as it's set up right now. We could bring the fairing earlier, but I want to tune this so that it is just right, really. That's got nothing in it anyway. Thrust away is 1.6, so we can't reduce it. We can't remove. No, it won't work. In theory, you could go for tri-boosters, but it's probably not the best plan. Yeah, I know you can do that, Ripper. I know you can release the fairing manually. I know all of that. I'm trying to configure my rocket so it just does everything in a beautiful way. I'm just trying to fine-tune it. I know we can manually do these things. So the problem is, if I ditch some fuel, I won't remember later that I did that. That's why I don't like ditching fuel. And if we ditch some of this, we can only do it in chunks for some reason. Is there any way of, like, controlling this better? Reduce the thrust to a 1.2 thrust weight so you can conserve fuel. Yes, it does biomech. Yeah, we could just go higher. Let's consider the rocket finished. Let's just change that staging to that, so it has the option of doing the fairing if it needs to. The only problem with doing that is it will release the fairing too early sometimes. Right, let's do that. We need to do a mission with this thing. So what I'm thinking is we call this the York 2. This is York 2. Let's call it research, if I can type properly. Research. That's what that one is. York 3, on the other hand, will be about probe. Right, so with this one, let's delete that fairing. We want to have this thing come back, so it'll take a probe over to Juma. Juna? What's it called again? Juna. It'll take a probe to Juna, and then it'll come back, and it'll leave the probe in orbit. It'll set it up and then come back. That's the plan. So pretty much everything from, well, anywhere from here really. We need something else on top. However, probes are pretty small. Is that uniform? It probably also. When we say probe, though, we need a fairly hefty probe. We need a probe that will have a big transmitter dish on it to act as a relay. It will need to have as many scanning things as we can find, so that we can scan the surface if we need to. because we have quite a bit of scanner stuff now. And then it'll need to not run out of power. Now, I know we have xenon type stuff going, but I don't know how much thrust they actually have. Probably not a lot. Yeah. 2 kilonewtons in a vacuum. Teeny tiny amounts of power. So that's built for really small probes, isn't it? Can you make it 2-stage, 1 release probe around the sun and 1 around Juno? What, I have 2 probes? How are you going to get it over to Juno, though? That's the question. Did I set up a probe already? What was the probe we used? Was it the SSR? Squirrel Survey Satellite. Let's have a quick look at that. This is what we put up around Minmus, I think. Yeah, of course it does. Let's get rid of that second. So this had a survey scanner, M700. May have bigger things than this by now. No, we don't. M700, the large scanning arm, surface scanning module, medium scanning arm, large scanning arm. Scanning mode orbital, scanning resource, all resources. Discovery science bonus 10. This one, I can't read. How do I get rid of this stupid thing? Tracking speed 30. Rated 4, dynamic pressure, reach 4 meters. Scan surface feature. Am I supposed to be on the ground with this one? These scanning arms, I don't quite understand if they go on a spaceship or on a rover type thing. Like, do you drive along the ground with this scanning arm? Infrared telescope. Log observation data. So that's for a manned vehicle. We should have put one of them on York. Scanning arms are rover equipment, okay. Surface scanning module. Right, so we've already got what we need in terms of scanner. This dish here can be a lot bigger. What's this? High gain antenna. And a relay antenna. Why did I put both on though? Why did I put high gain antennas? Why is there a docking port inside the dish? In case you want to attach it to something. Think of it as an attachment port. Sangove, that was probably Toombs who gave you that. Because I think he dropped 50 subs if I remember. He put 2 antennas for looks. I like it. So that's an RA-15, which is one of those. We now have an RA-100, which is substantially bigger. So let's call it Satellite 2. And we need to make sure we can power this thing, you know. What's the power on this? Requires 68.6 charge per second. But then so does that one. This requires 60. They all do. How bizarre. Right, so we take that off there. Oh boy. That sticks out quite a lot, doesn't it? Didn't we experiment? I remember experimenting with like collapsible arms to try and fold these things away. I remember doing that. You see that thing there? Kind of want this dish up there, and then this you could put here maybe and have it flick open that way to try and bring the distance in. You didn't know I played Kerbal? Played it for years. So this is KSP2 Stream Sage 2022. Do you think it's realistic? 'Cause I haven't seen any updates. This is not KSP2, Jimrick. I'm thinking we put that like that. And then with this one, we need to get it at right angles so it's like that. What's the best thing to put here that has a 90-degree... It's like a cube we can put in. Structural, maybe. Something that we can put in. Octagonal strut. Literally want to turn 90 degrees. Squirrels unknowingly playing KSP2. Modular girder segment that doesn't want to clip onto that. Interesting. Something like that, but a little bit smaller. Jeez, didn't expect that. This rocket is just going to fall over. There's a cube attachment nodes. I think we just had those. That expands, doesn't it? Deploy. So it needs to be like that when it's finished. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's just not going to be very balanced, and the fairing needs to go way out here. But what does that do to the center of mass? That's the question. Actually, it doesn't really make a big difference. It doesn't really do much to the center of mass. I think it'd be fine. As long as you can get your fairing around it, it's fine. So that gives us a big dish. It gives us a survey scanner. I think we had some new things that we can play with. What would that be under? Solar array, chargeable. What's a communitron? Directional antenna allows for far more reliable communication at longer ranges than previous models, thanks to its patented folding design. 158 gigameters on level 3, antenna rating 100G. So that's as much as that. So this one is really tiny. How does that work? Wait, this doesn't want to attach to anything. This is literally the same as one of them, except really small version of it. One is a relay, the other is a receiver. Ah. This was the relay, wasn't it? Oh, okay. But it says when transmitting. So this can't relay information, but it can transmit. The real Ben White, 41 months. DJ Sutty, 62 months. Thank you very much, sir. Hope you're well. Hey, Ferret. Yeah, this one's interesting. I might stick one of these on there anyway. Oh my god, electric charge when transmitting, 200 per second. Oof. The only problem with this is I don't know where we'd actually put it, because it doesn't like going anywhere. So I think that would just glitch into everything, which is no good. I kind of want it on here, but it doesn't like being on here. It's interesting how it doesn't want to snap to anything. Don't know any of these parts. Neither do I. Yeah, we kind of got to the point. We're not completed on the research tree, but we kind of bottomed out some of them, and I'm kind of playing around with some of the bits and wondering what the heck they do. So yeah, a bit experimental. I take it there's no auto straw on that. I hope that stays there. So anyway, I think that's the rocket we used last time. We could save that as it stands. It's a surface attached only part. Oh. So I'm not meant to have one of these, is that what you're saying? Can be placed inside inventories. Right, so you're supposed to put this on the ground. Is this deployable by an engineer then? You remove the scanner? What? How did I manage to remove the scanner? Oh, I know what it did. Scumbag game. That's paired with that. So I'll remove that. It took that one with it. So yeah, you're not meant to take one, are you? They're not meant to go on a thing, by the look of it. Communications, science, what else can we do? I mean, this is unmanned, so some of the stuff is highly irrelevant. Because nobody's there to actually measure it anyway. Thermal? Oh. A thermal control system. I think that's pretty much ready to go, as it is. We won't launch it like this, we'll detach it, but it's kind of what we want. You may want to watch in a bigger angle to snap the small one. You definitely do not need it. It does snap to most stuff. Are you on about the thing that we're not using? Self attached to this contact means whenever on the craft you want rather than having to use a node. Right. It does look asymmetrical, but, you know, what is there to put under? Really, apart from another one of these. And have 2 survey scanners just because. Although maybe would be better with that on this side. Because that way you've got your little high gain things there. I don't think a telescope is any use though. You mean one of these? This is for log and observation data, and if there's nobody there to collect it, it won't. Actually, I don't know. Will it just automatically transmit it? Who knows? Can't be mounted anyway. Yeah, it's meant to be manipulated in EVA construction. Yeah, so that's meant to be put on the ground. I think that's it. That's all we need to do. Remote guidance unit. Adapter, decoupler. It's just like a big bomb. Top dish and the angle bracket on the opposite side of the scanner for balance. Nah. If you put this over here, it'll stick right out. That's why I've put it on top. It'll be fine. Nobody care when it's in space anyway. Reminds you of the beluga. So what I want to do now is basically grab this and attach it to the other thing, amazingly. FL-A10 adapter. FL-A10 adapter. Let me have a look back at the York. Might sit there. I'm trying to remember how we do this now. What we want now is to take this launch thing. Let me get rid of that a second. We need to take that off there. And then how do you do this? You reroute it, don't you? You reroute to that. I can't remember how you get rid of that first. Save it. Yeah, you have to save it as subassembly, but you have to do something to it first. I can't remember what you do. Because I can't pick this up now. And I can't pick that up either. Hang on. Right, so we get rid of that. Yeah, so this is the problem. Once there's no longer a control pod, it doesn't know where the top is. You have to fake it somehow. Once you get rid of that, it's like, oh, I don't know what to do.